Hey guys, this is Sam, and happy 2016. I honestly can't believe that 2015 is already gone. But just like last year, I made a studio tour on January 1st, and since it's January 1st again, I wanted to show you guys an updated version of my studio or recording setup because actually quite a lot has changed. If you watch my channel and you've watched like one or two episodes of my new series, this is probably what you're used to seeing. If not, you're probably used to seeing these games in the background on these whiteboards. Although this is actually a lot different than what it actually is, because let me zoom out and show you guys how my setup actually looks. These are literally poster boards that I bought at Target, and I have assembled these icons on a sheet and then printed them out and stuck them using little pieces of tape on the back of this board. If I lift this up, that's how boring my setup looked for a long time. I was not interested in the background, so I decided to spice that up a little bit, adding this background, adding some games to it. And overall, I'm actually really proud of how it looks now. So let's start over here on the left side. I've got a rag to wipe off dust on anything on here, because dust just gets on everything and it's super annoying. An unboxing knife, an iPhone mount for a tripod, some lens caps, and we'll get to my camera near the end of this video. Here, once again, are some games that I play constantly on my Xbox and PlayStation 4. These things are called engrams. They're just little video game memorabilia. And then right here is a dock that I'm using constantly. This is called a Belkin. I want to say Charge and Go, but I could be wrong, so don't quote me on that. If I find these on the internet, I will try my very best to link them somewhere down below in the description, so you guys can purchase these for yourself if you're so inclined. But the most important part of my setup that I want to talk about today are these guys right here. These are called softboxes or studio lights. They have many names, but I got these a while back, and I would argue that these are the most important part of my setup. If you want to do anything with video, and I have not gone to film school, I'm not educated in this in any way, shape, or form, but from my experience, light determines a shot. And if you want to go down here, I actually pulled out this box just before I started recording. It's called the All-in-One Home Studio Lighting Kit. These are not like a big brand or anything to my knowledge. It looks like these are from photobasics.net. They actually had these in a local camera store when I decided to pick them up. So these are the lights that I use if you're interested. They work great. They have huge light bulbs inside that you probably can't see because it's too bright. But they work great. I love them. And they're probably the number one or two most important thing in my setup next to my camera, which we'll get to in just a moment. I want to take a little glide to the left because this is the other half of my setup. I spend a ton of time here because this is where my MacBook resides. This is a late 2013 Retina MacBook Pro. I use it constantly. I'm looking forward to upgrading to the new MacBook Pros when they are hopefully refreshed sometime later this year in 2016. This is called a My Passport for Mac. It is a 2 terabyte backup drive. I put lots of video and stuff on here, sometimes back at my computer, just in case something would go wrong. Here is an Apple Magic Mouse 2. There's the box for it, along with a barrage of other boxes that I just stacked here because honestly, I don't know if I have anywhere else to put them. Some delicious Ice Mountain water, which is a staple for any YouTuber. And then finally, on the right and left of my setup here, we have these things that are speakers. It's called the Sonos Play 1. They're a little bit pricey. They're about $199 each, so not the cheapest speakers out there, but I love them. Basically, you can play music over the internet to them, so like Pandora, Spotify, Apple Music just went in beta on them, and I'm loving it. The sound quality is so good, and I wish I could give you an audio test, but the only way you can really experience these is to play copyrighted music in them, and then I get a copyright strike, which is no fun. So please take my word, you can actually demo these at some local electronics stores. They sound so good, so please go listen to them for yourselves. This isn't sponsored in any way, shape, or form. I just really love my speakers because music is super important to me in any setup. So here's where I spend a lot of my time, but as I spin around, you guys probably aren't expecting this. My room is kind of 3 sections. So here, the main part where I normally record. There's my computer, and then if we go all the way around, I've got a TV. I think this is a 46 inch. I think it's a Mitsubishi Diamond. It's a relatively old TV, but it's 1080p. It still works great. Down here, I have an Xbox One. and a PlayStation 4, which I play constantly. I actually do play tons of Xbox and tons of PlayStation, which you guys probably don't know about me because I don't talk about it a whole lot. Here's a power center, a receiver, so I can hook it up to these awesome speakers. These are called Paradigms. They're a little bit pricey, but I really enjoy them. The sound is great. I want to say that they're Monitor 8s possibly, and once again, if I find these, I'll link it down below in the description. Over here, I have an Xbox 360 on top of a PlayStation 1, but unfortunately, that controller down there doesn't even work, so I've never truly experienced my PlayStation 1, which is unfortunate. But I got it for like $8 at a yard sale or something. This is a rocking chair. Gonna be really honest, this is just in here, so when somebody comes over, they have a place to sit. And I've got some remotes here, PlayStation controller, Xbox controller. Once again, I'm on those all the time. I want to navigate actually over here to, well, there's a cable mess on the ground. This is just what everything's connected to. Here is my charging station that I just recently did, and it looks awful. This is not pretty in any way, shape, or form. But here I've got an iPod Touch 6th Gen, an iPhone 6, and then underneath is an iPad Air 2, all conveniently charging using that super cool charging cable for the iPhone 6. Through this guy, I can turn it off with the flick of a switch. Turn it back on just like that, which is super useful. This is just a charger for the battery of my camera. And now that we're getting to the more exciting things, we got some lightning cables that I got laying around, some headphones, some memory cards. That's kind of the surroundings of my setup. If you can see a wider angle of it right here. I enjoy it a lot. But now I want to get to what some of you are arguably most interested in, which is my microphone and my camera. This right here is called the Blue Microphone Spark. You can see it right there on the left of the frame. I've been using this guy for a long time now. I think it sounds great. It's red and orange. I mean, honestly, it looks kind of outlandish, but I really like the way it looks. This is an XLR mic, so you have to get an adapter for it. Let me find the other part of my XLR cable. So the actual connection looks like this, which obviously doesn't really, the Mac, I've yet to find the XLR port on a Mac. So I had to find, or actually I had to purchase one of these, which is also made by Blue Microphones, which are awesome. This is called the Blue Microphones Icicle. It takes an XLR port, converts it to USB, so I can then plug it in via USB into my MacBook or computer to record. This microphone sounds great. I would recommend it to anybody. I think it's around $180. So it's not like starting end, but it's also not a Sennheiser MX, or that's headphones. It's not like a super fancy Sennheiser Shogun mic or shotgun mic. It just works really well for what I need and do, which is a lot of voiceovers and podcasting. And then finally, for the piece de resistance, here is my camera. I recently upgraded from its Canon T3i, which I used for the first 2 years, year and a half of YouTube. But I finally made the jump and went in with the Lumix GH4. You can see the branding right there. I use this camera constantly. It is probably my favorite piece of tech just because the video from it looks so good, and most of the B-roll that you've seen throughout this video was shot using this. Right now I've got a 20mm lens on it, which you can see if I go around here. It's a great camera. I really don't know how else to say it. A little bit on the pricey side. I saved up for quite a long time. Quite a few Google paychecks before I got this baby and my other job I have. But it's a great camera. If I go ahead and turn it on, you guys can see how it looks when I'm actually recording. This is what it looks like every time I'm recording. I usually have my hand here for an iPhone, and then this. It's got autofocus, which looks great. I love this camera. It is awesome. Like I said, I could ramble on about it for a really long time. But once again, it's called the Lumix GH4. I think it retails for around $1,500 for just the body, and then the lens itself was, let me go ahead and flip around to that. I think the lens for it was about $150 to $200, and this is a little 20mm prime lens, so the video is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but it's super crispy. It looks very, very sharp and vivid, which I love. But that's basically my studio setup. If you guys have questions about anything that I mentioned in this video, I will try my very best to be very responsive in the comments. And I hope you guys enjoyed watching. 2015 was a great year for the channel. I've enjoyed every second of it, and I am so excited for what 2016 is going to bring. I'm really loving the new series I just started, the upgrade, so shout out to that, and check that out if you haven't already. I'll have it linked down below. I'm stoked for 2016. I think we have a lot of cool Apple stuff that is going to come out this year. I'm excited for new iOS updates, new iPhones, new iPads, new MacBooks. We're going to have a lot of fun for iUpdateOS in 2016. So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, and I would really appreciate it. This has been Sam with iUpdateOS. Happy New Year, and I'll talk to you in the next one.